What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a few different mining stocks today. We'll be talking about CleanSpark for Honcho, Marathon for Balloons, which he also requested CleanSpark, and BTBT for David Stevens. So let's get into it. I'm looking at Marathon right now. From this relative cycle high there to this cycle low, you're at your 61869 area for like the second, third time. I'd say second time. It wouldn't necessarily be ideal for you to pull back from here. Generally speaking, when you do that on a third pass, the likelihood is that you stop here. But I do think Marathon will see new all-time highs, so I'm not really too worried about it. But I kind of do assume that it'll pull back from here. This could give it an M pattern kind of look, and that could take it back down to these lows, and maybe it takes it down to this 382. Maybe it's a higher low nonetheless, and it's not an M pattern. But nonetheless, I do think it wants to pull back from here. If we look at the RSI on the weekly basis, you do have bearish divergence forming itself right now. You have a high here, a lower high, while promoting a higher high here on a closing basis. Yes, this is a lower high on a price basis, but on the candle close, it is a higher high with substantial divergence, and you're right at the overbought zone. If you rejected here, that would be a powerful move down to the downside, which does lead me to believe that you could see prices below here. But maybe you don't. Sometimes, and it's not as common, but sometimes you do reject your overbought zone for a short amount of time and then actually get back up into it. It's like a little kiss, a little checkpoint, a break, and then you move up. Most of the time you see a significant rejection, but you know, I say most of the time because you never know. You never know what can happen. Top to bottom here. 1414 hit twice. I mean, that's nice. If you were to pull back, I would think you do hold $17.70 to $20, something like that. You're at $27 now, so probably around there. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, bearish divergence, same thing as I made yesterday, right? Kind of a double top, bearish divergence, looking like you want to go down. Would make sense to me. As far as like cycle predictions go, because I know some of you like to see that, top to bottom here, 204, 637. Probably not 637. We did the math on that last time, so I would say 305 or 325 to 204 is probably where you're going. New all-time highs are definitely on the table for this thing, but much past that I just don't see happening. So that's Marathon. Let's talk about BTBT now. Looking good. Let's see. Yeah, looking pretty good. I don't like the way the week closed. Daily RSI rejecting the bullish area of control, but that's okay. It is looking somewhat productive. You could pull back from here. That's okay. Low to high here. You could pull back to about 270, 260 and still be fine. Pull back to your 123 moving average where you like to find resistance, where you like to find support. A little bit of support down in this area, support kind of in this area. Support there. Yeah, you do respect it somewhat enough. So I would say if you pull back to that 270 to 260 area, that's not too crazy at all. I think it wants to. I do. I think this looks like a little bit of a inflection point there. Let's see. 0.5 rejection, man. Yeah, I would think at least 270 is where you're going. At least there, or 277, I should say. Let's see what you do. If you were to go lower than anything I've projected so far, you could see prices at around $2, and that wouldn't be crazy at all. It is a previous area of support down here. You could see that. Much past that, I wouldn't really expect. But for now, let's look at that 260 to 277 range. That's my best prediction. And if you want to do market cycle kind of high predictions, top to bottom, cycle high to cycle lows. You probably move up. I mean, not probably. You could move up to $100, maybe 182. I don't know about 423, but somewhere around there would make sense. 423 is on the table, but 101 to 182 sounds about right to me. CleanSpark, very bullish week or month. Very bullish month, up 121% so far. Is it a good idea in the traditional markets to buy something that's up 121% in a month? Probably not. Probably not. let's say something like this happens, right? You get the most volume you've ever seen so far, and it's right here. You continue to bleed up, but nevertheless, in about a month's time afterwards, you actually pulled back lower than here. If you were to be patient here and not buy, and the price were to grow still, it's not going to be by much, and it likely will pull back to prices that are even lower than this. I am calling for this this week's high to be the high, the momentary high. I do think that 1937, 1923 is the relative high that I've been looking for. From this low to high here, we're probably going to move back to about 1264, if not all the way down to 975 or somewhere in between. Potentially $9 is on the table, but I would first look at that 1264 area as a very real possibility. You do have gaps down here, right? Like right there. You have a gap right here as well, kind of around that $10.50 and $9.30 area, somewhere around there. So pretty overbought. You went all the way up to like 89, almost 90. It would make sense to cool off from here. It really would. But again, you were pretty hot here. You cooled off a little bit in your RSI and you continue to climb, but inevitably you went down. So if you don't do this more or less immediately, you could climb up to here and then drop. Don't FOMO if it goes up higher. I promise you, if you're patient, you'll probably be rewarded. But I say I promise you. I can't promise you, but none of this is financial advice. But I really do believe that we will see some price turnaround here. Just looking at it for what it is, from this high to this high here, you're hitting this line pretty well. It would make sense to turn around from here, right? You can see it. You can see it. So that's my genuine opinion. If we get a red week next week, we'll have this bearish divergence confirmed where you have a lower high and a higher high, and that would just be more fuel to the fire to go down. I don't think we're going to take out these lows. I was looking for that. With this thing, my whole thesis on this was that we don't bounce right off the 123 ever. We found significance a little bit above it. We found significance a little bit below it. I wasn't thinking that was the bottom, but hey, man, what better way to prove me wrong than having an extremely bullish week that moved up 68%. The next week moved up 28%. There's no denying it now. I very much do believe that's the low, but I can be wrong on that. Prove me wrong on that, and close prices on a weekly basis below $9. If you do that, then we could talk about prices going back below there, but I'm not under that assumption anymore. As far as cycle highs go, I know somebody in the comments was talking about, they said they disagreed with my thoughts that it could go to $300. I'm not necessarily banking, and I'm not trying to like pick on him or like argue or fight. I respect your opinion. I totally respect your opinion. I don't necessarily, if someone wanted me to bet money that it's going to go to $300, I don't know if I would take that bet. I don't necessarily believe it's going to go to $300 so much as I accept it as a possibility. I talk about these numbers because this is the expected range. It does fit a market cap that is suitable and possible to achieve in a cycle. It is possible, but the more likely numbers are definitely here, 160 to 101. I think that those are like the minimum targets for a reason, but 307 is on the table. Now, would I, even though it's on the table and I'm not necessarily expecting it, but I wouldn't count it out, would I take a bet if someone was like, I'll bet you it won't reach $300? I wouldn't take that bet. I would not take that bet because it might not. It might not hit $300. It might go past it. It might go all the way up to $700. Who knows? But my thoughts are at least $100. That much I would take a bet on. If someone was like, I'll bet you it doesn't hit $100, I'd be like, I bet it breaks $100, because I definitely do think it will do that. But these are your kind of targets, 307 to 101. Between that range is more likely going to happen. Maybe 160, maybe higher, maybe lower, but that's that. So if you guys like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.